Something that many of my newer subscribers are going to find out about me very quickly is I have a tendency to just not put up with stupidity. I have been on this planet for almost 33 years at this point. I am at a point in my life where the only thing that I want to do is really what I want to do. And at this moment, it means making videos about Dead by Daylight. But if I ever feel like you as a commenter are wasting my time, if I ever feel like you have your head shoved up your ass and the only thing that you are arguing from is a state of purposeful, pure ignorance, then I will either, one, not engage with you, which is the most common thing, or two, I'm just gonna outright ban you so I don't gotta read your stupid bullshit anymore. And you can complain about an echo chamber or whatever, because people love to like claim like, oh, all I did was disagree and I got banned. But no, I don't ever ban people for simple disagreements. I ban people for willful ignorance. And you might think, well, it's not that serious, it's just a video game, but I really don't care. So in that regard, I don't have the comments screenshotted that I want to show you like I did the last time that I did one of these videos. So you'll have to forgive me on that because I was very, very tired. I am very tired. I'm recording this literal minutes after I deleted the comment and no longer have access to it because it's 4:45 in the morning and I haven't been to bed yet because I've been up all night editing other videos that are a lot more fun and less angry than this one is. Please go watch those. I prefer that you watch the fun ones. In any case, basically, I made my video that said 12 changes that I wanted for Jason. And I found out through a series of unfortunate comments that there is apparently a subsection of survivors who are so fucking whiny bitch babies that they believe that Jason should have a time limit on his omnipresent evil, which, if behaviors patterns or anything to go by, means that we'll probably get that change happening in the next like 3 to 5 months because survivors just can't learn how to take fucking chase against a killer. The argumentation that has been presented for this has been a never-ending cascade of genuine stupidity. People claiming that there's no other killer in the game that can stay in their movement ability for that long without some kind of downside. This is incorrect. Both Wraith and Dracula can stay in their infinite high-speed movement abilities for extremely long periods of time. Blight and Billy have quote-unquote time limits on their abilities, although Billy technically doesn't. As long as you don't hit anything, he has absolutely no time limit on his ability. But in any case, those two, their cooldowns come back so fast that they kind of really don't have any movement on that. Singularity is able to guard basically the entire map without a movement ability, and that's just incredibly powerful for the character. There's genuinely so many other killers in the game that have these very powerful map presences, but because Jason is the shiny new killer, all of these survivor mains who have never touched killer for more than fucking 30 seconds a week have just up and decided that they're going to make these outlandish claims that Jason... What the fuck was that? Okay, then. That Jason is like this high, super power crept, overpowered killer that they just can't stand. But the comment that made me want to make this video, the comment that actually like boiled my blood to the core, was somebody who gave me a story about how they had a Jason stay in omnipresent evil for 5 minutes because them and another survivor who were both on Death Hook just stayed crouch walking for the entire 5 minutes. And I told them, you wasted your own time. You refused to take chase from the killer. That is not a problem for the killer. And they decided to respond to me with more of the stupid bullshit of no other killer can stay in their power, blah, 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 blah. But more of, they were like, oh, it's just bad for casuals. Your skill issue is not a problem for balancing. For those of you who might be new to this game, right? I want to tell you something. Do you know how Skull Merchant is largely considered to be one of the worst fucking killers in the game? Bottom 3 to the point where the famous content creator Hens did a worst killer showcase and she was in it? She didn't used to be that way. Skull Merchant has gone through, by my count, 4 reworks at this point. And one of... Jesus fuck. I'm sorry. This makes me so angry when I think of it. The original version of Skull Merchant was too good at 3-genning, and she could make matches last an hour by 3-genning. So they had to change her. Now, in my opinion, they changed her a little bit too much. They did a little bit too much, but they changed her into a thing that didn't work very well. And then they changed her one more time. And that version of Skull Merchant, the version that was just 2 scan lines and required a little bit of skill, was like a middle B tier killer. And a lot of her annoyances were gone. She could no longer camp gens, and there was also the baseline 3-gen mechanic put into the game. And there was really nothing about her that was annoying or bad to play against. She required a little bit more thought with looping because you had to crouch to avoid the detection of the scan lines, but it was an interesting and kind of engaging sort of gameplay from the survivor side because you had to actually use your brain and shit. But survivors were so upset about the original Skull Merchant 1.0 that they constantly would pretend and act like the new Skull Merchant was a problem when she wasn't. She was a middle of the road, okay, kind of decent killer that got nerfed into the fucking ground, not because she was super powerful, but because they bitched too much. Because their own skill issue prevented them from learning how to play against the killer. The killer got nerfed into the ground, and the developers straight up said that they did that to discourage people from playing the Skull Merchant until they could rework her into something that would make survivors happy. And I've already talked about this whole thing. You're never going to make everybody happy. It was a stupid fucking balancing decision, but we ended up there because people refused to just accept that they need to be better at the game. And I'm going to put this out on the table. If you don't want to put in the time to learn the game, if you don't want to put in the effort to be better at the game, that's okay. You don't have to be. But if you don't want to learn how to play this fucking game, you don't get to come back and try to make everything change to be catered to your skill issue. I'm gonna say it again. Your skill issue is not my fucking problem. Why should my killer have his only movement ability, which the only thing it does is movement? Omnipresent Evil does nothing else but movement. Yes, you can find survivors faster, but if they do the counterplay of crouch walking, then you won't find them. But the problem is that survivors are so scared to take chase. They're so fucking petrified that they will waste their own time crouch walking around the map, waiting for someone else to be found by Jason. And it's infuriating as a Jason player. Why should I have to lose my only movement ability? Why should it get nerfed into the fucking ground? Because that's what you're asking, right? When you're saying, oh, it should have to be on a time limit, there's no reason for it to be on a time limit. Jason has limited teleportation spots, okay? People are like, oh, the teleportation spots are actually literally everywhere. But when you play Jason for a significant amount of time, you will run into a lot of instances where you don't have a teleportation spot next to wherever a survivor is camping out at. Whether it be on a generator, sometimes on a totem or something. Sometimes the closest teleportation spot is so far away that by the time you actually teleport to that spot, finish your animation and go to look for the survivor, they've already pre-ran your ass into oblivion. They're already in fucking Narnia and making their way to the lost city of Atlantis by the time you actually catch up to them. Because that is the fucking RNG of map design. It's the same kind of problem with someone like the Dredge, for example. Like, yeah, Jason has more TP points than the Dredge does, but the point is that map RNG does prevent Jason from sometimes getting on top where he needs to be. And so that's just already one downside. The second downside is he can't do anything in his fucking movement. He can't interact with the gens. He can't interact with the pallets. He can't interact with the survivors. He can't interact with anybody without completely ending that and putting the Omnipresent Evil on a cooldown. Now, yes, it's a short cooldown. It's only 12 seconds, but it's still a cooldown in which he can't follow up on a hit, or he can't leave a chase as fast as he needs to if he realizes, like, let's say you teleport on top of a survivor and you go to hit them, but then they make it to one of those bullshit ass tile generations where you've got like a fucking TL wall and a jungle gem right next to Shack. You don't commit to that as killer. You never commit to that chase. But I've already just come out of my power, so now I have to wait for it to come off cooldown to leave this chase that's not a good idea to commit to, so I'm just wasting even more time. There are downsides to the Omnipresent Evil. You idiots just don't know it because you don't play the fucking character. And that's what really pisses me off. That is what always has pissed me off about this game and about the way people treat the killers in this game, is people that don't play the killers. Not even talking about playing the killer side, not even talking about playing the killer role. People who just straight up don't play the fucking killers, never in their goddamn life can imagine what it's like to play it. All they know is that they suck against the killer, therefore the killer has to be changed. Therefore, these things need to happen. The killer needs to be nerfed into the ground, all this other fucking bullshit. And they might say, oh, we're not asking to be nerfed to the ground, but you are. When you're talking about putting a time limit, because what's the time limit? What is an acceptable time limit for you? I bet you none of you were going to say anything above like 30 seconds at the maximum, right? One person was saying, oh, he shouldn't be able to sit there and go between the exit gates because no other killer can do that. Dozens of killers can guard the exit gates extremely well. In fact, that is a specialty of a lot of killers. And I'm going to just tell you this, and I know it's going to suck for y'all to hear, but killers deserve to be different. They deserve to have things that they can do extremely well. Killer to killer to killer has things that they do extremely well, whether that be guarding exit gates, pressuring gens, being fast at chase, having a huge map presence, being dog shit. I don't know. Killers deserve to have that. You cannot have every single killer play the exact same way. You cannot have every single killer make it to where you can just sit there on an exit gate and open it before they get back to you, and you don't have to fucking be challenged in any sort of way. You cannot have every single killer be beaten by pre-running and W-keying into oblivion. Sometimes you gotta use the fucking loops. Sometimes you gotta use the 40 billion pallets that behavior gives you and actually chain them together. Sometimes you have to play with a little bit of fucking thought. Maybe it's because I'm tired and I'm a little bit hungry, but I am pissed. I'm genuinely pissed the fuck off because I am so exhausted of having this conversation. I am so tired of every single brand new killer release for the next 3 months after a killer is released, just hearing nothing but the most incessant bitching and moaning and whining about how the killer does things, because God forbid the killer does things. I'm not saying that there's not legitimate things in the past, but I have not heard a single legitimate claim against Jason. There has not been a single solitary claim for a nerf on Jason that has made any amount of sense. In fact, after playing the character for so long and actually dedicating time and energy to this character, I can tell you that he probably needs a couple of buffs. There's a couple of things that definitely need to be tweaked about him, but none of them are nerfs. There's nothing about him that's a nerf, because at the end of the day, he's a skill-expressive character. That fucking spear is easy to dodge if you pay attention. But the problem is most of you want to run in a straight fucking line and never look behind you. So when you get fucking double tapped by the Jason because he's just chucking a spear at you who isn't moving, you cry about it. When you crouch walk around the map because you refuse to take a Jason in chase and learn how to loop the character, you bitch about it. When you don't fucking sit down and improve upon your own skill, you complain. And in today's Dead by Daylight, in the modern Dead by Daylight, you Survivor players have no fucking excuses. You have zero excuses for being able to play this game well. You are being handed everything on a silver platter. Each individual survivor has a power level that most of the time, for 90% of the killer roster, exceeds that killer. And then for the top 10%, it maybe takes 2 or 3 survivors to exceed the power of the killer if you just play the fucking game right. You are the power role. Stop using your own lack of skill as an excuse to nerf shit. I'm sick of it. I am fucking sick of it. Thank you for watching. As always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one, and hopefully it's a lot less fucking angry.